about the players today. I think in terms of a manager, I think he's lived and he's learned and he's grown himself, and I think he's got his team where he wants his team to be. We've spoke so much on the radio on Monday Night Club, on Sunday, and I think we've always said about having a squad that's capable of being able to compete on all levels, and I feel as though that squad at this moment in time, barring a few injuries, is where it needs to be. So I think that relates to his ability to have them interviews after, because he knows what he has. He has the weapons to be able to change in that moment and then go again for the next game, because at this level you're playing every 3 or 4 days, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, and I feel as though for me, I think it would be a no-brainer to extend his contract because of the squad that he's actually built, and today is massive. I do agree with you both in terms of a psychological advantage. It could go either way, and I think it could give Arsenal the confidence to go and compete even more for League and FA Cup and Champions League. And for City, you could then kickstart a little bit of a run over the next few months.
There are loads of great sounds, but also great smells, I think, of cup final days. This is a new one on me. It is the smell of white paint, because the lines that John mentioned right at the start of the show have gone all around, and now they're about 2 feet away from us, just shining white back at us. And it is just the pristineness of everything, actually. The grass, the trophy, which is just behind us, which shimmers remarkably in the sunlight. It's just a beautiful thing, and everything is just done to the absolute nth degree for these days.
Yeah, it's one of the great trophies, I think, the League Cup trophy. Unique, it looks different, and okay, it's the third of the 3 domestic trophies, but I think with the 3 handles on it, I love it. I do. I love that trophy. I think it's absolutely, it's not quite as good as the FA Cup, which is the best trophy, but it's not far behind.
Better than the Champions League?
Oh, yeah. As a piece of design.
Yeah.
But Mourinho used to say to his Chelsea boys at the time that of all the trophies you could think about winning at the start of the season, this was the most important. And he, of course, is not as prestigious as even the FA Cup and then your league and the Champions League, or even probably the other European trophies. However, if you win in February, it used to be February, this final, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you win in March, this trophy, even psychologically, when you are still in for other things, then that just gives you, one, a bit less pressure, maybe because you've already won one, and 2, that kind of momentum to go and get for more. Walking up to where the trophy is, the kind of things with your fan, all of that, you would want more than that in the same season.
And that is what leads us nicely on to the whole psychology of, I don't really want to ask the question of like, who needs it more? Because it's okay to say that they both need it massively, Steph, and it's not just about today, is it? It's the fact that if City win, does that sort of slightly upset Arsenal, even with a big lead in the Premier League? If Arsenal win, what does that... There's just so much.
Yeah, I think both teams need this trophy. There's no denying that in totally different ways. But I think even for coming at it from a player's point of view, these finals don't come around very often. And I think you've got to enjoy every single moment. And you're speaking about the steps, Jules, and stuff. I remember walking up these stairs quite a few times, very fortunately, and actually realising that they're a bit of a weird one in terms you don't know whether to take 1 step or 2 steps. And you're walking up with your boots on, you're walking past your family, and that's probably the most amazing part about Wembley, is that when you do win, you do that moment of you share it with them. But I think for me, when it comes to a final, it matters to both teams. I think this is so huge in the season, but for individuals and players that might not have experienced this for the first time, it's going to be something that you remember. And I think whether it's a League Cup, a Champions League, or an FA Cup here, they're all special.
Steph, this is just one of the many reasons why it's brilliant having you on, because I've asked many questions on many cup final days, like how heavy is the trophy? What's it like? I've never talked about the width of the steps.
No, honestly, because I can just remember thinking, oh my God, I'm going to fall here. And you concentrate, you don't even look up, so you try and think about the steps. But yeah, no, I made that little bit of an error with the FA Cup because it's got the lid on top where you're lifting it and it's fallen off, and I'm thinking, oh my God.
You didn't.
But anyway, no, it's so nice to be back, to be honest.
Well, I'm going to force you to talk about yourself a little bit more if you don't mind, because you're always unfailingly modest. But just turn round with us here and look out across the pitch at Wembley Stadium, because what I really want to get into